Yeah. Yeah.
God save you. What can I do for you?
Sir Divish mentioned you've been having one or two problems.
Well, he's not wrong. Thanks to these rumours going around, my stone blocks are just sitting here. Or lying.
What happened with the stone?
A piece broke off one and fell on someone, and they blame it on the quality of the stone. Ha! I bet they were too drunk to see straight.
And isn't it possible that...
It's not. I sent them the best stone. It will be a sin to cut corners to try and make money from the house of God.
I'm sorry you have so many worries. I hope it all ends well.
It'll end, one way or the other. It reeks of profiteering and politics. Take care.
Did you send the last delivery of stone in smaller pieces?
No, why would we do that? We always deliver it in big blocks. It's easier for us.
That's odd. They told me they were glad you got them smaller pieces, so they had less work to dress it.
But that's not possible.
It seems the stone you sent never arrived, and they got this instead.
Unthinkable. I delivered the last shipment myself because I wanted to exchange a few words with them, and nothing happened along the way.
Then someone must have replaced them on site.
But what would the builders have out of it? To replace it, and then say we sent it?
I don't think the builders know what happened. Most likely it's someone else who has their fingers in this.
A thief?
Here's the cursed stone that caused so much damage.
It's old and weathered. But this isn't my stone.
What?
Well, this stone isn't from my quarry. See the grain? That's not from the weathering. The stone is from somewhere else.
What do you know about these rumours?
There was an accident in the monastery, and there are rumours going around that it was because of bad quality stone.
And isn't it possible one bad one might have slipped in there somehow?
No, it's slander. Maybe they start thinking this quarry's too expensive, and they found themselves a new one. Whatever's behind it, I want to know about it. Take care.
Yeah! Yeah!
What is it?
I've got good news, sir. The source of the problem was inside the monastery. There was nothing more to it.
And the construction?
We'll continue. The master builder's helper was to blame for everything. With him out of the way, the work will run smoothly again.
That's good. You've accomplished your task admirably, Henry, and I should reward you for it.
Thank you, Sir Divish.
Goodbye.
What are you up? Henry, I'm glad you stopped by. What happened to you?
Welcome, Henry.
Yeah.
I wonder what Teresa's doing now. I could stop by and see her again. I enjoyed it last time.
Welcome back. What news from Ratai?
Well, the bailiff read Sir Divish's decree, and now I'm officially bailiff of Pribyslavitz.
Then allow me to congratulate you. What will be your first step?
First, actually, I'm not quite sure. What would you recommend?
As it happens, I already sought a few things in your absence. You might have noticed that the first people have come from Ratai.
Yeah, I saw some heading here right away.
So when they arrived, I was able to start clearing building plots with them. After they erected some temporary dwellings, that is.
So we're ready to get things started?
As long as you know what you want to build, I can show these new people what to do. We'll be building on the sites we've measured out. You can go and look them over first, if you like.
I'll do that. I'll see what's going to be built where.
Nevertheless, I doubt you'll be able to figure that out just from looking at the sites.
How do I choose what to build where?
I've already given it some thought on your behalf. I even wrote it all down in the accounts ledger. Everything will be recorded there. I'll make a note of every change as we proceed.
Thanks. That'll be a big help. And where can I find this book?
It will always be kept at the Rat House.
Well, there's nothing here, so we'll have to build everything. Ale house, bakery, butchers, rat house. Did I mention ale house?
Eventually. But be warned. To begin with, it's always best to start with facilities that will be producing construction materials for everything else. And since we'll mainly be using timber, it makes sense to set up a woodcutter's camp.
All right. And then what?
That depends. Every building has its use. You'll soon get the grasp of it, and it's all in the ledger.
What about the workers' wages and buying materials for artisans?
The money must be put in the trunk here. The expenditures for wages and materials will be taken from it, so you should keep it topped up to prevent delays. It reminds me, there's the matter of my own pay to be resolved.
Yes, of course.
Sir Divish guaranteed me a fixed income. What's more, this job is an exceptionally big one.
I see. But how much are you thinking?
I have a record of payment here somewhere. Here it is. Let's say 1/4 more than that.
Well, as you said yourself, it's just a continuation of your work for Sir Divish, so I see no reason to change the conditions now.
Even though it's much more work and responsibility, you can't be serious.
All right. This amount ought to correspond to your work.
It seems we understand each other. I agree.
Good. I'll put your wages in the trunk, too. Are you sure it's quite safe?
Quite. Only you and I shall have a key, and access to the trunk. Besides, we'll have guards on watch here.
Ah, that's reassuring.
That's about all to begin with. If you need any more details, I'll be happy to explain things to you.
Could you explain something to me? What are my duties as bailiff?
As bailiff, you must see to it that the village grows and prospers. You'll have to resolve disputes between citizens and decide what I should have built. The coin for it will come from your own purse. Basically, you'll have to keep the whole locality under control, but you can't just do whatever you like. You're still answerable to Sir Divish, as am I.
Which means...
Which means that if the folk here are unhappy, word will soon get to Sir Divish, and he'll put you in your place. So you'd better see to it that there's no thieving, and folk have jobs to do, and their wages are paid.
Of course. I'll keep a close eye on things. How do I build houses?
First, find out how much it'll cost, and whether the upkeep won't ruin you. Everything is written in the ledger. You can check it all there, or just come and see me.
Sure. How do the accounts work?
The most important thing is to know how much profit your buildings generate, and what they cost to operate. That's written on the very first page of the ledger, which will be kept at the Rat House. Whenever we erect a new building, I record it there, and you'll find all the profit generated by the village in the trunk with the ledger.
And what if we spend more than we earn?
Then you'll have to put the amount necessary for covering the operating costs into the trunk.
I see. Probably best to have a little extra there for a rainy day then. How do operating costs work?
Those are the workers' wages, costs of material and equipment for tradesmen, and so on.
And what if I don't have enough coin?
Then production will grind to a halt. Watch out for that. Folks soon get grouchy if they're not getting paid. The amount needed each day is recorded in the accounts ledger too. So you should keep enough in the trunk to cover the wages.
And how do I pay the workers?
Don't concern yourself about that. I'll take care of it. As long as you provide the coin.
So I could put enough money there for, say, 3 days in advance?
Indeed. Simple enough, isn't it?
All right. Thanks. How can I get new people to come to the village?
Don't worry about that. Folk will gradually turn up of their own accord when there are houses for them. Each building can house a certain number of people. The bigger the house, the more inhabitants. And the more space you have for them, the more country folk will come here in search of a better livelihood.
What about tradesmen?
I can find you fairly competent ones, but if you can get really skilled artisans, it will certainly be a boon for the village income. Although it's not all that easy to get skilled people. You could ask around.
I see. Any suggestions?
You could try asking the two Sasau armourers for a start. They're always at each other's throats, so maybe one of them could work here. But don't forget to get a forge and armory workshop set up for him. Otherwise you'll only be wasting his time.
Right. I'll go and have a word with them later. I must give some thought to who else would come in handy here. Thanks. How can I improve the buildings?
The process is exactly the same as for building from the ground up. We need to have enough coin, materials, and of course, something to improve. It goes without saying that there's no point in better blacksmith's equipment if you've no forge to put it in.
Well, I can't argue with that. But why bother with improvements at all?
Because they make it possible to produce better goods that can be sold at a higher price, so we'll earn more money.
Nothing, actually.
God save you, Henry. Good day, Henry.
I want to build something.
Certainly, Master Bailiff. What's it to be?
We'll need woodcutters to ensure timber supplies for building.
It's impossible. Check what you need in the ledger.
I'd rather not build anything just now. I want to build something.
Certainly, Master Bailiff. What's it to be?
We'll need woodcutters to ensure timber supplies for building.
Good. We've got everything. Come along with me to the site where we'll be building.
God be with you, Henry.
We're going to build here?
Indeed. Can we begin?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. We've got what we need. Let's get to work.
How are you, Henry?
Welcome, Henry.
Marius, there's work to be done.
That shouldn't take too long. Come along with me and we'll take a look at the site.
We're gonna build here?
Right here. Ready to start?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. We've got what we need. Let's get to work.
Jesus, look where you're going.
What is it this time?
We have a problem with water. That is, with the stream. With the, use of the stream.
The stream? What seems to be the trouble?
Sir, they won't let me have a shit.
What's that?
Your locator here won't let people go for a shit.
God give me strength.
Master Locator, would you be so kind as to cast some light on the matter?
I never forbade anyone to defecate. It's not something that can be prohibited anyway.
You did so.
All I asked was that people did their business further downstream. After all, we don't want our water supply contaminated. It could cause disease.
What do you suggest, Master Marius?
Let the people answer the call of nature at least 100 feet downstream from the village.
What? That far? What if I get the runs? I'd shit myself before getting there.
What kind of disease?
Digestive disorders, fever, even death.
Ah, what a load of nonsense. We always poured our shit out right there on the road. They even do that in Prague, for what I've heard. What else would they do with it?
Is it true about Prague?
Admittedly, in many cases, yes. But often there's no other option. The wealthier citizens have a latrine in their courtyard which they empty out whenever necessary. The common folk do empty their chamber pots on the streets.
See now.
But it's also said that if the Turks ever try to attack Prague, It's the stink that will hold them back, not the walls.
I've decided. Defecating will only be allowed at least 150 feet from the village. Anyone caught infringing this decree will get 10 lashes of the cane.
What? That's nearly as much as for stealing.
A strict decree, I admit, but it's for the common good.
Well, finally we have permission to go and shit again. I'll go and tell the fellows we can go to the stream. It's been a tough few days.
You mean you haven't been since... No, don't say it. I don't even want to know.
Good day, Henry. For heaven's sake, Henry, put away that weapon. Walk around here with it.
God save you, Henry.
There's work to be done.
That shouldn't take too long. Come along with me and we'll take a look at the site.
Good day, Henry.
We're going to build here?
Yes. Shall we get started?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. We've still got the means. We'll get stuck in then.
God save you, good night. What can I do for you?
Goodbye.
Henry! I'm glad you came.
Jesus, look where you're going. God be with you, Henry. How are you, Henry?
So, how am I doing with the village?
Let's see. You're still far from having the income you need to make the village prosper. You'll need to get the tradesmen working better and creating space for more people. The church is still in ruins. Doesn't create a good impression. We're on the right track, but we haven't reached the end yet.
All right, I'll get stuck in.